Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. First of all, apologies for the late start. Just as I was about to go live, all my audio decided not to work. I couldn't get any audio out, I couldn't get audio in. And it took me a little about 30 minutes to get that resolved, thanks to, update. So, welcome again to Power Series with yours truly, Sambala Dranying. We do this every Sunday as much as we can. Today's episode will be doing part two of robotic process automation using Power Virtual Agent. We started this two episodes before, and then we had to pausing to do primarily WhatsApp with Power Platform and stuff like that. So today we're going to do the part two of that. If this is your first time joining, I would really encourage that you connect with me on any of my social media handles down here. And then also, if you can for us, kindly subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so that anytime we go live, we would be able, to serve you better. So, sorry again for the late start, but we're going to get into it. Before we get started, a couple of things I want to share with you. The first one being a project I've been working on for some time now, which is called Fraud Wall. Hopefully, we're going to release Fraud Wall for initial use and testing pretty soon, and I'll bring all that update on the channel as well. So for those of us, especially in Ghana and places where the mobile money, mobile wallet, there is the issue of fraudulent payments, scams, you name it. People, you want to buy products online, you send monies to setting account or mobile wallet numbers, and it turns out to be a scam. So what myself and my team have done is to put together a product which we call Fraud Wall, which is currently allows you to go on and then putting the number which you want to do the transaction with and verify if there's been any report of that number being a scam or fraud. We're going to give you the ratings for that, and you do that at your discretion. But also, it's also a platform for you to come in there and then report any fraudulent activities you probably have with evidence, not just come and report a number. So I'll be sharing updates on this as we come, because we're getting close to the launch of it. So I'll be sharing updates on that. So go check us out. I think it's Fraud Wall Ghana. I'll share the link with you as we move on. So thank you for joining us. Let's jump into what we're going to do today. So in the last two episodes, I shared with you how to do robotic process automation, where we had Power Automate desktop run some flow automatically from our desktop, call the website and did some things right now. So today what we want to do is to see how we do the unattended version of using the robotic process automation. So you need to have a machine which you want to do that unattended or attended robotic process on. And because I was using my laptop to do this, we couldn't do that on it because it was the same one. So what we're going to do today is we're going to set up a VM in Azure Cloud, and then we're going to I'm going to show you how to set up the Power Automate desktop on, how do you call it? Set it up on the VM, and then we'll try to run a cloud flow that actually calls this desktop flow on a schedule to do something. And I gave a scenario where you're probably working in advertisement and you want the ability to track if your post has been done. We could look at how this is done. So without much ado, let's go to our desk and let's get our, let me bring this here so we can get our, and the process to do this is quite straightforward. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go into my Azure portal and then create a VM that I can leverage. So let's go ahead and go to portal.azure. And feel free, when you join us, feel free to share where you're joining us from so we can give you a shout out. And then, say hi and give you some welcome to the show. So let's do this. Let's go. Okay. So I'm just trying to get myself connected. Where is my authenticator? Let's go in here and authenticate. Hopefully we get this going. Approved. Okay, and we do this. I'm sure probably because I have another tenant, it should, hey Clean, welcome to the stream. Hope you had a great weekend. Ready for the new week. Awesome. Let's get this going. Okay, so now we should be ready. So next steps we're going to do is, first of all, we need to create, we need a machine, right? So this could be any machine in your on-prem or infrastructure, right? It could also be a machine in the cloud. I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to set it up. So that's what we're going to do. So let me be sure I am in the right account. I'm going to switch to I'm not ready, but we can. What can we do? I know, right? Sometimes you feel like that. You're like, I wish I could be someone somewhere else. Okay, let's go into this. And yeah, just make sure we have a good. Okay, so I'm going to my resource groups. I think I have a resource group here. I'm going to create a new resource group. I have a new subscription. I use my MVP subscription to do this, so we'll use Microsoft MVP subscription, and I'll call this Power Series. Yeah, we are not supposed to have what? Come on. There is something happening. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's see something. So let's do power. Okay, don't worry. We'll do this. So we'll do power series. Okay. Yeah, I'll just do East US for now. Let's go to next. I'll just say this is I'll just say show, and I'll call this power series. Okay. Let's review this. Let's create the resource group. So I'm just creating the resource group to contain and host all my how do you call it, Power Series stuff. I'm not sure what's happening, but anyway. So in here, I'm going to go ahead and create the VM, right? So I'm going to go ahead. I'll just create a very basic Windows VM. And then remember to set it down, else it's going to consume all our monies. So let's go to, we can go to compute, right? We can go to compute. I'll just say Windows VM, or you can just say virtual machine, right? You can just, yeah. So there's Windows 11. There's Windows 11 preview. I'll just do Windows 11, right? So, and yeah, so someone says, could I have also created how do you call it? I could have created a remote or virtual desktop, right? Virtual workstation to do that. But yeah, so I just want to go with this. So it's a Windows 11 machine. I've selected the Windows 11 that I want. I don't want any preset. I'm going to start with the preset configuration, but primarily I just want something very simple and straightforward, right? From Thursday, August 29. Yeah, that's just for a demo. So yeah, we can just use this and move away from it. So let's go ahead and create. Now, the other thing is that once we create the virtual machine, we need to have a user account that allows us to be able to do the remote, set up the robotic process automation. All right. So yeah, we're using this. We're going to call this. We're going to call it power. This is $159, $160 a month. Okay, yeah, don't worry. We're just going to use it for today and set it up. So let's call this the Power Series VM. Let's call it the Power SRV underscore automation. Oh, let's call it this way. Let's call it RPS underscore SRV underscore 001. All right. Oh, don't mind. We'll just do. Okay. There we go. So this is the name. I'm just going to note this down somewhere so that I can easily refer to it. Yeah. So that's the server name. It's just the name of the server. So region is USS Vine. I don't want any infrastructure redundancy. This is just a test. Trusted launch, just standard, right? Yeah, just basic. I don't want anything. Yeah, we're doing Windows 11. Well, we could do any of this. We could do Windows. We could do Windows 11 Pro with this version, or we could do Windows 10. Right? We could do all these things, but you'll just stick to Windows 11 Pro. Yeah, 64-bit. I'm not going to run any spot discount. So this is where. So it says this size is currently unavailable in US. So let's go and see all the sizes and change, right? And change it. So let's say, let's do, ideal for extreme. Let's just do very, very standard ones. So let's see. This is like for CPU 16. I don't want anything 16. Okay, let's see. First generation. Let's see the FX ones. 2.7. Let's go. So let's see. Just trying to pick one. 4 gig. That's for virtual CPU, 16 RAM, 8 150. Okay, let's just pick one. Don't worry. Any which ways, we're going to discard it any which ways. So that's the size. The username, we will say, let's call this RPS admin. I'm going to put this somewhere because you need this, right? For my password, I'm going to create a very efficient password. Okay, put in the password again. Okay, so we have the password. We have the password done. Public inbound port. So we allowed only select. So we're going to do the RDP into the port, right? So we'll just allow this for now. Yes, I have confirmed. I have an eligible. No, I don't have. Okay, I have an eligible license. Blah blah blah. I have confirmed. I have an eligible license. Wait, no, I don't have that. Anyway, don't worry. I think we can change that going forward. So yeah, we're going to enable the port 3389, and we'll see how this happens, because at the point, if we need to open up more ports to allow for the work to be done, we'll enable that. So this is the default. Delete with VM. That's fine. I'm not going to add any data disk. I'm not attaching any data disk to it. Networking. So here, it's going to try to ask us if we have a VM, but we're going to set up a virtual network and all that for it. So we'll have it create a VNet called RPS. So let's actually create a new one. And we're going to call it, well, let's just leave the default. Okay, let's leave the default. So it's going to create a virtual network called the RPS SRV 001 VNet. It's going to start a subnet. The public is going to create a public IP for it. Yeah, basic network security group. We are allowing port 3389. Delete this. Yeah, so I want to delete the VM and the IP and the network interface card when the VM is also deleted. So yeah, we are not going to any load balancing. Let's go to management. This is already there. I did enable SCADA assign. No, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Auto shutdown. Yes. Auto shutdown from, let's say, 11:30 p.m. So what's going to happen is that by 11:30 p.m. it's going to shut this machine down. What else? What else? What else? Let's go to monitoring. Yeah, I mean this is just basically for just a test. So a lot of the things I'm just going to leave to the default. Enable, you just leave that. Enable, we just leave all that. Advanced, we don't have anything in here. And we're not going to install any extensions for now because we're going to go in and logging and trying to do all that. Yep, I think that's fine. We're not going to add any tags. Review and create. You see here now, they're putting this in my face to let me know that it's going to cost me about 181 to run this VM. So let's see. Review it, and when we're ready to create it, I'll go ahead and do the create. Let's go. I think I should get some background music playing when I'm doing this so that it doesn't sound too crazy. Yeah, I should do that. Yeah. What do you think, guys? We should hear some background music playing. The only I wish I could play the music I play when I'm coding or doing stuff, but my fear is that a lot of it will be struck down for copyright things because I'm playing like Stoneboy, Can Promise, a like of other musics, so it would probably be picked up. So yeah, I guess I either have to stick to some music or stuff that's not going to have any strike for copyright, or I could just play. There's some music I listen to, like coding music, and that allows you to put you in the mood for that. There are a lot of them on YouTube that you can use though. So okay, so now we're creating it. So while we are creating the VM to start it and then to log on to the VM and then go to Power Automate and install it and run that, we will try to do that. Let's see. So is it going to be on that? So, and then, yeah, and now I'm going to walk you through the process. Once that is done, we also need to register this new VM in our Power Automate. We need to register it as a machine. Because now, okay, so deployment is in progress. While deployment is in progress, let's go to portal.office.com. I like to go there to segue into all the other parts that I want to be. So, yeah, and don't worry, feel free to bring up your questions, right? I will try as much as possible to answer them whilst we're waiting for our other resources to be created. So yeah, VNet and stuff are being created. Okay, so yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about whilst we are waiting for the resources and stuff to come is I wanted to talk to you about the Microsoft for Startup Hubs. If you were a startup, right? I think my camera needs to come a bit here. Awesome. If you were a startup, okay, and you have a solution or something you want to build, and you're worried about where do I get cloud infrastructure, where do I get some resources to run, I would advise and encourage you to take a look at the Microsoft for Startup Hubs. It's a good place for startups and people who just want to get into tech to get started. You get free Microsoft Azure credit. Aside that, you get a lot of other tools and services that you can leverage for your startup. I am a beneficiary of it for my Crafted Climate project. Currently, I have about $25,000 on Microsoft in terms of cloud spend to use. And yeah, I'm on course to get to potentially $150,000 for cloud spend. So it's a good place if you start up a business and you want some kind of help in getting there. Just reach out to me. I'll help you and walk you through the process. Let me stop my camera from. It looks like my camera wants to keep following me everywhere I go. And I want to stop it. It's one of those AI cameras. So stop, go. There we go. Yep. So now it won't follow me all around again. Awesome. So let's see. Let's go back. Okay. So it looks like our resource is created. Let's go to our resource. And now we should see that our PSSRV001 virtual machine is ready to use. Okay, it says RPSF virtual machine agent status is not ready. Troubleshoot this. Okay, so we'll probably just give it some time, just refresh and allow it to to start up. Now, if we go to our Power Automate, right, and then you go all the way down here. If you look on the side here, let me take you there again. Sorry. Okay. All right, right here, you should see machines. So if we go there now, you would see that it's only my machine that, like this current machine that I'm working on, that is being registered, right? However, we want to, so yeah, Volta server is the only one that is registered, is connected, so it knows about the power, power Automate desktop that's running on my machine. So look at this closely. We're now going to register the new one, which is the RPS SRV001. We'll register it here, and that is going to give us the opportunity to be able to use it, right? So let's go. Let's refresh this again. And hopefully this should run. Let's see what's happening. Let me just hit here and see what's telling me. Why it's saying that you need okay, don't worry. So the simplest way to connect to this remotely, I could use a Windows how do you call it? I could use the Windows desktop. So here I'm going to do the connect, and it's going to download a profile for me to use remote desktop. So go here, connect, or I can use the basin to connect to it, but I don't want. I just want to use the native RDP. So I'm going to favorite this as the way I want to connect to it. Download the RDP, and then let's open this. So I'm going to open this one here and connect. Remember that we saved the password somewhere, right? So you see that it set that up to it. So we connect. They will ask us to download and allow some certificates, because we allow that port, right? We allow the RDP port. So now I am inside the VM. Okay, so what you're seeing right now is the VM we just created. This is not my desktop. This is the VM we created in Azure, and this is where I'm going to work in. So I'm going to set up the RPA. I'll install Power Automate desktop. I'll do the installation on it, and then I'll set up the agent on it so that we can register it on, how do you call it, on our Power Automate. And once that is done, we'll go ahead and create a very basic flow. I'll try to replicate the same flow I did on my local machine on it, so that we can now trigger that and allow it to run every second, all right, and see what we have. The location, I don't want to use a location. I don't want to use find. I'm not going to use ink and typing. I don't want any teledex. I don't want any advertisement. So pretty much bare bone, accept. And yeah, so look at this. So we have a very beautiful Windows 11. Basically we have a Windows 11 that we use. I think I'll have to probably install Firefox, because the example I use would leverage Firefox. So I mean, and this could be it could be anything, right? So I just want to just go by the examples I have. But first thing first, let's go and then connect and set things up. All right. So we will go to, obviously this is the this is the only browser we have now. So start without syncing anything. I'm not bringing anything over. Just confirm and continue. Continue without bringing any data. I'll just confirm and start browsing. Okay. Yeah. We'll take this. We'll take probably this and finish. Thank you. And it's also internet ready, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and I'll do Firefox. I'll install Firefox. I'll download Firefox. Download Firefox. I can use Edge too, right? But it's just that the script I have is functional for Firefox. So let's just leave it that way for now. But it doesn't mean you need to. I'm just let's see. Let's go ahead and open the installer. Okay, so whilst that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see, so let's minimize this. So now we are back to, we are back to our own workstation, but let's go back here. There we go. It's good. It allows me to do the paste over. So now let's get in here, and this will be some okay. Okay, let's do this. Just connect, and again we would have to do our MFA. So let me bring my authenticator up here, refresh, and I should get that pooling for it. Come on. Not now. Oh, okay, no wonder. It's connected. My phone is connected to a different Wi-Fi, so it's misbehaving. 84 facial recognition approved. Okay, so that's done, and no thanks. And then we say no for now, and this technically, okay, so skip and continue. Skip this step. Skip this step. Stop browsing. Okay, so now we have Firefox is also ready here, and that, like I said, that's just because, and I'll have to install some Firefox drivers. So now technically I'm walking you through the process. I also would have to install different drivers. All right, so now all the action is going to happen in here. If I come to this point, let's say I go to let's say my flows. Good. Now when you come to the flows, this is the first time you're running it on an event, so you have, these are the flows I have. You see on the top right corner right here, let's go, yeah, on the top right corner here, and actually, yeah, I need to leave my so on the top right corner here you should see install. So click the arrow there, and then the Power Automate for desktop. So what's going to happen is that it's going to download the Power Automate for desktop and allow you to install it on the machine. Okay, so wait for this to be done. Once it's done, okay, so let's open it, and now we don't need this again since we've used it already. So again, what's the context? You might have certain flows that, or certain processes that live on an on-prem machine that's somewhere, which is not directly connected to, to the public facing, or you have some, by policy or by regulation, you have some processes that have to happen locally on your server in your own, facility or something, and you want to be able to trigger flows to call this process using the RPA on the desktop on the server. And that's what we're trying to do. So I'm showing you how to use a cloud flow to call a desktop flow automatically or scheduled or whatever you want to do. So let's say every morning you need to run this machine, which is probably a legacy machine that is running some old software. You have to start it, look for some number, get the number, whatever the scenario, that complicated scenario. So I'm showing you how to do this. So you can have your cloud flow automatically run and call this local flow running on, doing a robotic process automation. It could just be, opening an app locally on that machine and then getting the number, right? Maybe getting the current number of the app and then using that to do something, right? So yeah, let's go next. And yeah, so this will install it. For desktop to build flows, we'll do that. You already have Power Automate Store app installed. Have the Power Automate Store. What is it? You already have the Power Automate Store app installed. Okay, yeah. So because it comes, so let's go ahead, install the machine runtime app. Okay, install files. Okay, that's fine. Enable picture. Okay, that's fine. By selecting store, I agree. Yes. And then we go ahead. Now, one thing is, I believe, I think it's Windows 11. By default, let me check something. Let me just go here and do power. Yeah, there you go. By default, it installs the power. It comes with the Power Automate. I think Windows 11 or Windows 10 one of it. So, but what we are doing is just installing the extra things on it. And then now we can go ahead and try to register this device as part of our machines that we can use to run automate when this is done. So when that is done, we would go ahead and register that. You can see the machines here as well. So currently it will just show that one machine which we were seeing water server. So we'll go ahead and I will add we can register a new machine, and then we'll go to the process, and all that. Now the thing is, you can also have a hosted machine. Well, we went ahead to host this machine on our own, like deploy this on our own. If you want Power Automate to do that for you, you can go through the hosted machine process, and what's going to happen is that it will help you set it up, and just like the process we went to. So I'm creating the scenario where we potentially already have it. We already have this VM, or we have a specific VM doing setting work for us. So that's why we chose that path. Let's go. Okay. Yeah, so you're good to go now. So here you see we need to install the two extensions. So the machine runtime app, that is what I was mentioning to you, that we need to install the machine runtime app that allows us to connect to the cloud, Power Automate in the cloud. So currently we need to do two things. We need to install what we call the extensions that allow Power Automate to interact with browsers. Right now it's identified we have two browsers, which is Mozilla, the Firefox, and Edge. So I'll go ahead and download that. So we'll get that, and then we'll add the extension. We won't sync anything. All right, so now that is added. Let's go back and then do for Firefox, and then we'll add to Firefox, then we'll add it. Okay, we'll just allow that. Okay. All right, so now we have both the extensions installed. Okay, now the other thing is now to use the runtime. So let's go ahead and delete this. Since we are done with this, we can delete this. Now the runtime is what we need to connect to the cloud. Okay, so like you've seen, currently we only have one server on it, so we're going to use the runtime to connect. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And yes, I'm going to go through the same process to sign in. So work or school account, continue. Again, trying to log on. Okay. And again, we need to call our MFA. Let's see what we have, 72, and that should be fine. All right. Yeah. Let's allow my organization to manage the device. So after all, it's going to be in our fleet of services. And that's the thing. If I don't, if I don't remember to, to delete, was not set up to device because, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about that. That's just management. It doesn't change my account I'm running. So the account will still run. So now this should allow us connect to, so it's getting some machine information. So you can see it's now pulling the environment. I'll say, yes, this is the default environment we want to work in. Let me maximize this. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, where is... Yeah, okay, let me change this and see if this is going to come. It should... Hurry up, hurry up. Don't worry, we'll register it with the default because that is where we have the other machine. So you see, there is, the level of protection on top of it, which means you can define which environment your machines, right, are attached to, so that they cannot come on. Okay, there we go. So this is connected, but I think I want to change this. Yeah, change it. Yeah, I just needed to trigger it so that it would, I had to do this one so that it will trigger the move, and then I'll rerun it again so it reconnects it to a new environment. That's a little thing I came across the last time I was doing it. So the easiest way for me to do it was just to select a different environment and then do it again. So, okay, so now I see that it's connected to Power Automate. It's connected to it in this environment, right? So this is the machine settings. If you want to do a machine group, you can do that, but that's not our focus for today. So if I came out of here and I refresh this page, we should see that our new machine should have been added to, there we go. We should see that, there you go. So RPSSRV is being added and is also connected. So now this means we now have this machine and we have a user account thing that allows us to run a flow on it. Okay, so let's say we want to, so now the next thing for us is to go ahead and probably create a dummy flow that runs locally on the machine, and then now call a Power Automate, a cloud flow to call this desktop flow. All right, I think we have enough time to do that. So let's go in there. Let's go back to our VM. So in here, we have the runtime is running, we're connected. We can leave this and let's go to Power Automate. Where is that? Okay, there we go. Let's open Power Automate. So this is a VM, guys. This is not my local machine. I'm running on a VM. So we're going to try to create a flow that actually, does something, run some script, and return something. Whilst that's happening, let me see if I can do. Okay. Okay, it's downloading updates, so just wait for that to happen. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and sign in. I'm going to use the school. So now this is so this is the assumption is that this is a VM or machine locally somewhere that's going to host some kind of application. So let's see. Actually, let me do this again. I think. Okay. No, I feel somebody's watching me as I hey, you're gonna enter it wrongly. Let's go again and do our MFA refresh. Refresh. All right. Okay. No, sign into this. So we're not going to waste our time on that. So we're going to open this. Pum pum pum. All right. No, I don't want to talk. Don't ask me again. I got it. So this is your very basic, how do you call it? Power Automate, right? I think I explained this the last time. You have different tutorials where this is web automation, desktop automation. You want to do something, daytime hand. There are different examples here you can look at, and when you download it, there are lots of them. Scripting, PDF automation, automate tax in PDF, text manipulation, flow control. These are all just examples. So, like I said, you could have a process or an application running locally that is not accessible, via the internet, or that doesn't have an API, or that is not supposed to be that. Yeah, well, there could be a compliance or regulation reasons why that machine cannot be accessed, via the internet. It just has to be in a local environment. So whatever the processing, everything has to happen locally. So in a case like that, you'd want something like an RPA that is local to do whatever processing it has to do, connect to whatever local systems, and then export or make that data available for you to leverage. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm not going to use any of the examples, but hey, it's there for you to go check out and look at. So let's create a new flow, and I will call this flow. Let's see. We will say, let's say checkpoint, right? And I don't even know why I called it checkpoint. But what I want to do is just for the sample project, I just want us to create a simple utility or flow, right? That allows us to mimic calling a legacy project or application on the machine that returns some kind of number that we need to do some process, online. So it's like maybe the days checkpoint is something, and you need that number to do some validation. It's just, please understand me, it's just a hypothetical thing. So before we do the flow, so here you see that because I signed in with the same, I can see all the flows that I created, right? All the desktop flows that I created. So the immigration website versus the past use automation. There are different ones here. So this is the current one I'm editing. It's pulled up all the flows. So we can probably try one or any of these. Okay. But in the meantime, I'd wanted us to create a different utility. Actually, let's see edit. Let's see what this one is. I believe this is oh yeah, I know this one. Yeah, this is one that we created. But I see the file is not here, and it would need me. So that's why I want to create a new file. So this is a Python script that is called to run something. You can see it's Python, but I've not installed Python on this machine, and I don't want to stretch it because it's supposed to be a no-code local thing. So let's close this one and let's do just a checkpoint. So for the checkpoint, we're going to use something that is very native and simple here. So what do I mean? Let's go ahead and I'll do the PowerShell. Let's do the PowerShell ISC. And pum 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 pum. And then I'm going to do this. Okay. I'm just going to do something very very, 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 very simple. something that we can easily use. So the scenario is, let's assume that your organization requires you to have a certain checkpoint number, which is auto-generated, and nobody knows that. So you have this legacy application that generates the checkpoint number for the day, and that is what you're going to use for all your subsequent processes for the day, right? As a way of security. I don't know even why I'm thinking about that. So let's create a new file, and then we're going to use one of the very simple functions. Okay, so we're going to use one of the very simple functions here, and if we run this, you see that the output of get random, it returns a random number, right? If I run this again, it's going to return a random number when I run it, when I run it, when I run it. All right. I like I said, we're not trying to over engineer or complicate it. We just want to create a simple scenario where we are assuming there's some, don't touch, there's some legacy or system that is not exposed to the internet, is just local, but you need a way to get data from this and then use it for some online process. There's no API, right? So that's what we're going to do. So I'll go ahead and save this, and I think we should do something. Let's go to C. Yeah, this is a temporary storage that will just go off anytime you so let's go to this. Let's call a new folder. Let's call it script, and then in here we will call it token, right? So it's token.psi. We'll save this. So now if we go to our C and then we go to script, there's token, right? There's token.psi, the PowerScript PowerShell file. So if I say if I do this, let's say this. Okay, so what we can do is, we know that it's in C script, right? So if I call my terminal, right? If I call my Windows terminal, all right, and so this is me logged in as me, and in this terminal. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So as simple as we can do this, we know where the file is, right? So I can go ahead and say, if I say script, let's see, script, right? So we have, yep. We say script back and then I say we call this token.psi, right? I just need to be sure. Oh, sorry, it's PS1, not PSI. Just a sec, let me see. So I'm going to do this, come here and do CMD. Okay, and I do token.ps1. Okay, there we go. All right, so this works now here. Okay, so we know that this is now in here for us. So what we need to do is now create our script to call it. All right, so before you do it, you need to call your PowerShell, right? So if you do something like PowerShell, okay, so we know this is PowerShell .exe. This is the command we're calling, and if I go in here, I just want to copy this. Okay, so copy this, paste it here, and then backslash, and then it's called what? Token.ps1, and there you go. You see it. So when you call the PowerShell.x and then you run, you call the script, it calls this generation. It calls the function for you. So let's assume that this is our super sensitive application that we want to send to some other place. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to minimize this here. So actually, let's do this. Let's minimize this. Just a sec. All right. So let's come back to, now we can close this. We've already saved this, so now we can close this. We don't need it. Now let's come back here to our Power Automate. Where's the one that I was working on? Okay, awesome. So this is it. This is the one that we are working on at the moment. Let's see. Okay. This is our, okay, let's go back to, yeah, it's a bit it's a bit, because now I have multiple, how do you call it? Because now I have multiple screens, it's a bit confusing with all the, okay, so, okay, awesome, cool. So what we are now going to do is we're going to run a command, and I think I walked through this the last time. It's not an in-depth thing. I'll be doing a whole series on Power Automate Desktop, so you can see all the actions here, from email exchange, message, OCR, FTP, AW. There are a lot of things you can do here. All right, so ours is just going to be a very simple, we're going to run a very simple system command, right? So let's go ahead here, and then, ouch, 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 ouch. And don't forget that we will be using, oh, I can close this. We'll use the same, we'll call, this is what we want to use, all right? So let's, we call the program, we run the program, we pass the argument or the script to it, the path to it, argument to it. It's going to run it, it will return something. We'll probably just pick on that and then use that. All right. So let's go. Let's go here, and I'm going to add it. Where is that? Now this thing is really confusing me. Yeah. I keep clicking the wrong one, so it keeps popping up different things. Okay, here, there we go. So we're going to go ahead, and I'll just, in here, I'll type run, and you can see system run application. Okay, so that's what we want to do. So you can see run a DOS command, run a Python command, run a PowerScript command, right? Run a PowerScript, a PowerShell script. So actually, let's do this since we have that. So this, we can actually use, let's go ahead, and since we have this, we can use the how do you call it? We can use the same script that we used, okay? And the script that we used was get random, right? So we're going to go ahead and then use the get random. So I just go ahead and type get, we'll just get random. Now, the cool thing is that you could also use genuine script with Copilot right here, right? So let's say I'm going to delete this, and you see how cool it is with the integration of Copilot. So I'm going to go here and say generate with the Copilot. So we'll describe what I want to do. So I'll say that create a function that generates a random number, or let's say that generates, that generates a random number. That's all. So going here, generate a script, and you see it says function get random is specifying the minimum, the maximum, and you see get random, so it's calling get random. Okay, the same thing, return blah blah blah. Anyway, but I don't want to do this, so we'll just use get random. Like I said, right? It's just for us to be able to, I just want us to test this thing. You can go all crazy about it and use whatever you want to do. Now, another thing I want you to pay attention is, now the output of this script is going to come as let's copy it, as PowerShell output, right? That's the output of the script. So anytime you run it, that output will be stored in a variable called the PowerShell output. So we'll save this. And now when I'm going to save this, now anytime I run this file, right, it's going to run the command and then give me the return. So let's go ahead and do run this. We'll see what will happen. It's running, and that's it. Now take a look at this on the right side here. Now you see that it ran, and then the output was 300. That was the output, which is here, right? So now I know that this flow is working. Now what do I want to do with this flow? Okay, when I call the flow and there's this number, I want to be able to take this number and use it to do something else. So currently our first part is done. We have seen how to install the Power Automate on a VM, and also install the runtime, the PC runtime that allows you to connect it to the cloud. So now this machine, this VM, is now part of our Power Automate machines, RPA machines in the cloud. And we've just created a simple script using the run PowerShell script. We've given it the script, and it's going to run it for us, and it returns a value. So the next step would be, now how do we create a cloud flow that calls this desktop flow that returns this number to the cloud flow for the cloud flow to do something. The scenario is that you're working in a finance institution, and there's a token or there's a code that is used on a day-to-day basis for transaction. This is not a code known by any one person. The system that generates it, and before you perform any transactions, you need to call this system to get the code for every transaction, which will be validated against when the transaction happens. That's the scenario we are creating. And this, because of regulations and sensitivity to the platform, the server or the system that generates the code is not on the internet, right? It's not directly accessible via the internet. So you need to use some kind of processes like RPA to allow you to run the code locally and then return that output to a calling application. Now, this would mean that this would be behind some kind of firewall, using maybe an application gateway or something. And then your Power, by virtue of using your Power App, you are also using some kind of a gateway that allows only your Power applications, a Power App machine, to connect to this. So like I said, this could be sitting behind a firewall. You need to enable all the access to it, the right access to it. But that's the scenario we're creating. So a minute to an hour, which is the time we have on our show. Thank you so much for spending time. In the next episode, I'm going to now show you how to create the cloud flow and then connect to the desktop flow. If this sounds like something that's interesting to you, you want to do, join me next, potentially in the next episode, where I share how to now connect the cloud flow to this desktop flow running in our VM. With that said, thank you for making time with me. Like I said, you can always connect to me on my social media handles here, and feel free to scan the QR code on the top here. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so that anytime I go live, you would have access to it. Be mindful of fraud; it's on the rise. Like I mentioned, I'll be bringing you Fraud Wall, which is a tool you can use to check and validate numbers before you send them. With that said, thank you for making a day to me today. I'll come your way again next Sunday for the next episode. If you have any questions, don't forget to just put it in the comment section. I'll look at it and I'll try to answer it in the next show. With that said, stay safe, go out into the new week and be fruitful. Let's make the world a better place through technology and loving one another. With that said, I'm out. Be safe.